welcome to Smaulgld's recap of the year of gold in 2016, gold price versus world currencies. During the year, we'll also have some silver prices as well, priced in world currencies. So gold broke a 3-year losing streak in 2006 versus the dollar. Gold was up versus the dollar. It was also higher against the euro, the Australian, and Canadian dollars for the third year in a row. Gold hit all-time highs against the Syrian pound, the Turkish lira, the Ukraine hryvnia during 2016, and silver outperformed gold in 2016 in nearly all currencies. I think all currencies. So gold rose against the US dollar 8.5% in 2016 after being down 10.5% last year and 1.8% in 2014. Silver, however, was up 15.3% in 2016. Let's take a look at the chart. You can see it's kind of been a bell curve. It went up during the year. It really spiked in June, July after Brexit, maintained its highs during the summer, and then kind of fell down and rebounded a little bit in the month of December. Let's take a look at gold versus the Argentine peso. 3 years in a row now, Argentina, the price of gold has risen against the Argentine peso. They devalued the peso in December 2015, and it's been off to the races ever since. So gold's been going up and up and up against the Argentine peso. Here's a reminder at the end of the year, if you've appreciated the work we've done at Smaulgld, to donate to Smaulgld via PayPal or via Bitcoin. I have received some Satoshis in Bitcoin, and I appreciate those people who have sent me Bitcoin, and also those who sent generous donations via PayPal. Thank you very much. Happy New Year. Now, the Australian dollar, gold was up 10.1% in 2016 after being up slightly in 15. It was also up in 2014. Silver was up 16.1% in 2016. The chart for the Australian dollar is similar to the US. It spiked, it went in that bell curve, went down, and then started to move back up. Although gold did hit a all-time high, or very close to an all-time high, priced in Australian dollars. It hit its same peak, I think it was in 2011, of about 1,800 Australian dollars to the ounce, and it reached that this summer. Now here's a country, the Brazilian real. Brazil, gold was actually down in 2016, and that's because it had risen sharply in 2015 as the price of oil dropped. Brazil is a very heavily resource dependent economy, and oil was down significantly in 2015. They had political issues. They also had political issues at the beginning of the year. So gold had risen significantly, but then as the price of oil rose and the political situation tamed down a bit, then the price of gold fell against the Brazilian real. It was up 33% in 2015, but was down 10% in 2016. Gold versus the British pound. Well, Brexit really helped gold this year in 2016. The British pound had been at a decent year-long high most of 2016, and then Brexit hit, and boom, that crushed the pound. The pound has not recovered since. It went from about $1.50 down to about $1.22 and has stayed there. Gold skyrocketed, as you can see here in the chart, immediately on the announcement of Brexit. It went from about $850 a pound to 915 pounds per ounce, from 850 pounds per ounce. It hit over 1,050 pounds per ounce and settled the end of the year at about 950. So big year for gold versus the British pound. Silver was up 38.25% in 2016 versus the British pound. Canadian dollar, similar chart to the US dollar, although the Canadian dollar strengthened later in the year, so the gains in Canadian dollars, gold gain in Canadian dollars was slightly less than the US. It was only 5.5% in 2006, but gold had been up 7.3% in 2015 against the Canadian dollar and up 7.9% in 2014. So that's 3 years in a row that gold has been up versus the Canadian dollar. Silver was up 11.37% in 2016. Interested in buying Canadian gold, you can do so through the site. You can buy a lot of gold and silver through the Smaulgld site. If you do so, I get a small commission. I appreciate those people who do choose to buy their gold through the affiliates, the gold and silver bullion dealers that are listed on the Smaulgld site. You can do so through the links and through the banners. And if you do, I get a small commission. You pay no more, no less than if you were to visit those sites directly. So I appreciate those people who are buying their gold and silver through Smaulgld. It's not a recommendation to buy or sell gold or silver, but if you are interested in buying and you are going to buy, you've made the decision, please do so, or check out the affiliates on the Smaulgld site. You can compare prices and shipping and make your purchase. Thank you very much for that. Now let's see, Chinese renminbi. Gold was up significantly, 16.38% in 2016 versus the Chinese yuan. It's easier than saying renminbi. And that's because the Chinese yuan was down significantly all year versus major currencies. So the gold was up 16.38%, and that partially explains some of the decline in gold demand in China in 2016. Shanghai Gold Exchange withdrawals were about 30% lower in 2016 from 2015, and the People's Bank of China curbed their gold buying in 2016 versus 2015. European euros, gold was up 12.6% in European euros in 2016, and that's partially because the European euro also took a hit like the British pound, but not to the same extent because of the shocks of Brexit, the defeat of the Italian constitutional referendum, and just general, I would say, malaise in the European Union and fears that the European Union may be struggling to hold itself together. There's a European coin, the Australian Gold Philharmonics. They're made by the Austrian Mint. You can check them out by clicking on the banner there. They do come in 1/10, 1/4, and 1/2 ounce sizes, as well as the 1 ounce size. If you're interested in making a small gold purchase, the Austrian Silver Philharmonic coins are a good choice, as are the Canadian Maple Leafs, which also come in smaller sizes, as do the U.S. American Gold Eagles. Indian Rupee, gold was up 11.6%. It had been up far more significantly in the middle of the year. And at the end of the year, when the Indian government did its demonetization, gold rose again against the Indian rupee, but did not rise as high as it had been earlier in the year. Japanese yen, gold was up 5.2% against the Japanese yen in 2016. It had been down last year about 10% and up 12.3% in 2014. The Russian ruble. Gold was actually down 9.18% in 2016. Again, like Brazil, Russia is an export country with mostly oil as its major export. The price of oil rose. That drove the price of the ruble higher this year. And versus gold, gold was actually down. Russia took big advantage of the increased ruble price versus the lower gold price and added about 200 tons of gold to its reserves in 2016. Just recently in November, they added 1 million ounces of gold to their reserves, and the Central Bank of Russia added 1.2 million ounces of gold to 1.4 million ounces of gold to reserves in October. So it was a big gold buying year for the Central Bank of Russia. Swiss franc, the gold was up 10.4% against the Swiss franc in 2016. It was down last year about the same amount, and it was up about 10% in 2014. Silver was up 18.4% in 2016. I think I missed Russia's silver. Silver was down, even silver was down 3.95% in 2016. In Japan, silver was up 11.5% in 2016. So you can see silver outperformed gold in 2016, and then silver was up 17.55% in 2016 versus against the Indian rupee versus 11.6% in 2016. Same in euros, silver was up 19.15% in 2016 and gold was only up 12.6%. I think we've covered, nope, Chinese renminbi, silver was up 23.25% versus 16.38% in gold. And the Canadian dollar, silver was up 11.37% versus 5.5% in 2016. If I missed any of the countries you're interested in, you can, rather than try to find it on this YouTube, just go to the Smaulgld website. I'll put a link below. You can check out all these charts at your leisure, and you can check them out and see the information you're looking for rather than trying to find it on the YouTube. Swiss franc, silver was up 18.4% versus 10.4% for gold. Syrian pound, look at that, 195% up in 2016. And that's basically because Syria, this highlights when real political uncertainty and war strike a country, its currency becomes under significant attack because it's possible that the currency may not exist, excuse me, in the future. And same with Ukraine. We also saw big increases in gold in the Ukraine. Turkish lira, gold was up 30.9% in 2016. It was up 11.73% in 2015, and silver was up 38.5% versus the Turkish lira in 2016. So again, big moves in silver. And Ukraine, gold versus the Ukraine. Hibernia, it was up 21.1% in 2016. It was up 28% in 2015 and up 90% in 2014. So Ukraine's going through the same political uncertainty, similar to Syria, though they're totally separate types of circumstances. But they do highlight when there's political uncertainty and war that the price of gold definitely rises versus the local currency. Right, that about does it. I want to thank everybody and wish everyone a happy new year. And please remember to subscribe to Smaulgld by entering your email address on the Smaulgld website, and also subscribe to this YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter and Facebook. Thank you very much.